Mhm.
Yay. Okay, guys, let's get started. I'm so sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Don't know what that was because the Zoom link was correct. So I think it's just like a Squarespace thing. Maybe I should just send direct emails outside of Squarespace before. For me, a learning lesson for me. Okay, well, thank you. I hope that you guys have some time. This shouldn't go over really 60 minutes here. And I'll just start with kind of what to expect for today. So we're going to go through some reflection practices, some kind of reflection questions, right? But they're going to be more interactive. So if you've come to some of my sessions before or have worked with me in the past, you know that I don't like sort of like stagnant, boring, just like talking to the screen. So after the reflection practices, I'll ask like how it was. Feel free to like send something in the chat throughout, how the experience was. But they're basically going to be reflection questions or kind of journal questions, but we're going to work with kind of different ways to find answers within ourselves, right? So different kind of intuitive practices to connect with our intuition, to connect to source, spirit, for this kind of information from a higher consciousness, higher source, right? That's like a huge part of my life, huge part of my practice is channeling and working with this kind of outside energy that's always there and available to us to just kind of tap in and receive from. Then I'm going to talk about my new offering that I just launched today. I'm just going to take a few minutes with that, especially since we started late. But it's kind of like a follow on to this, and I'm trusting that people are here today. It's important for me to share that. And then finally, we're going to end with something I'm really excited for, and it's a transcendental meditation that I call Entering the Heart's Temple. We'll talk about it more when we get started, and we'll finish with this transcendental meditation. And this meditation came to me not that long ago. How I receive kind of all of my meditations and all of my practices, or most of my practices, is intuitively. And I can make sure everyone's muted because I'm distracted easily. My good old ADHD. Okay, so the Entering the Heart's Temple, this was a meditation that just kind of came to me while I was on the beach. And it was so powerful. And it was after I already decided to do this free clarity masterclass. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that is the one that I need to have during this practice. Like, that feels important. And I practiced it with some friends the other day, and it just was absolutely amazing. I don't want to give it away too much, but it's a really beautiful practice of, on the complete spiritual side, it's kind of like we're doing a bit of interdimensional travel with our higher self, with our spirits, into our heart's temple, and we're going there to get advice, right? And I encourage for the transcendental meditation, we'll do like little practices, little meditations throughout. But for the last one, if you have something to cover your eyes, maybe headphones, just to really, really kind of zen out, calm down, and get into more of a theta state with the brain. Okay. Okay. So I like to begin with a little meditation, just to kind of ground ourselves before getting into these questions. So you can start to get comfortable and just close the eyes, and this will be really quick. But it's always good to just check in with the body a little bit, get out of the mind. So you can start to close down the eyes. Start to take some nice deep breaths. Letting your body really relax. each inhale and exhale, just try and release any tension, any anxiety, any kind of overthinking from the day. Letting that next exhale be a nice sigh of relief and release. And now let's just get grounded. So I'd like you to start to feel the support beneath you, whether that's a chair or the ground. Really feeling into that support. And now starting to visualize and growing roots from wherever you're hitting the ground, wherever you can feel that pressure beneath you, and just start to grow your own roots into the ground, maybe straight down, maybe spreading those roots out horizontally into the earth as far as they go. And then when you feel ready, you can just take a nice deep breath. Again, just releasing that tension and opening the eyes when you feel ready. Okay. So before we get into the first exercise, I just wanted to talk about kind of why we seek clarity. Because clarity, and this is why I did this masterclass, is because clarity is one of the things that I hear so often of that's what people want. That's their goal, is like clarity. And that's like what everyone wants. That's what I want for myself. I always like want this internal clarity, but I was thinking, why? And what is the opposite of clarity? It's just having a lack of it. And that is just like feeling a lack of clarity in your life is having this confusion. It means you're not seeing or feeling clear on who you are and what you want out of life, right? There's something kind of like in your path, in your vision, that's blocking that inner sight and blocking that clarity, right? That's the lack of clarity. And a lot of confusion can happen. But, and this is a big but, and this felt important when I was meditating and creating this class, is while it's important to do this inner work 100% and do this kind of internal seeking and growth, it's absolutely important. We all need it. It's also extremely important, especially if you are really wanting this clarity and this clear vision of like the future, right? It's so important to accept exactly where you are in the moment first, while taking steps to gain that internal clarity. But that acceptance of exactly where you are is so important for us to do first. And that feels extremely important to say. And so as I was thinking about it, this channeled message came through. So I'm just going to read the channeled message directly. And because I was connecting with my guides, and that's what a channeled message is. So it was, life tends to go in stages, especially on a spiritual or growth journey. You can't skip from point A to point B. You can't skip a rung on the ladder. Each step serves its purpose to get you to the top. Honor each step and stage and know there are moments where you are not supposed to see the view from the top. And this is by design. Your soul chose this. And as I wrote this message, Spirit was kind of giving me this image of someone like climbing up a ladder, and they would be struggling to climb it because they were trying to climb it too fast, and then like their leg would fall and like skip a step, right? And for me, I saw that as a message of we need to kind of honor each rung on the ladder, each step, right? And look at the view around you while you're in the middle. We're not supposed to be right at the top and see that clear, beautiful vision, right? Where you have when you get to that top rung. And just an affirmation. And maybe just close your eyes for a moment and put a hand on the heart, and we can just repeat this affirmation together. And it's, I fully accept exactly where I am, and I open myself up to receive the clarity that I am ready for in this moment. I'll say that one more time. Just mentally repeat it. I fully accept exactly where I am, and I open myself up to receive the clarity that I am ready for in this moment. Okay. All right. Moving on here. So I already kind of said this, but a lack of clarity means you have something blocking your inner sight. So let's try and find out what that is. So the first exercise is going to be automatic writing or channeling. I kind of described what channeling is for me. It can be different for anybody. But automatic writing, so if you can have your journal for this one. Automatic writing is basically just you do not think about what you're writing down. And I'm going to have you close your eyes in a moment. I'm going to say the question that I want you to think about. You're going to think about it for a moment and then open your eyes and you're just going to start to write. And I kind of compare it to channeling, automatic writing and channeling. Because channeling is receiving messages from source, from spirits, from God, from the universe, whatever you want to call that, and then receiving it in that way. That's channeling. And automatic writing can be one of the easiest ways to start channeling. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, automatic writing is like where you want to start if you want to practice channeling messages from source, right? And from your intuition, from your higher self. And so let's just go and do it, because the best way to know how to do it is to experience it. But I invite you that when I invite you to open your eyes, after I say the question, just write. Don't think about what you're going to write. Try not to pause too much. Don't think about sentence structure. Just like word vomit all over the page. So, okay, just close your eyes for a moment, just so you can kind of feel this question hit you in your body. Let it resonate for a moment before you automatic write or channel. And the question is, well, first, start to visualize a stream of light, a white stream of light, directly coming from the heavens and straight down through your body, through your head. So just take a moment to find that visualization. Making this direct connection with source. So bringing that white light down from above, through your head, through your body. Just let this question and these words resonate for a moment. And then when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and start automatic writing. And it's in what ways are you contributing to your own mental and emotional suffering? So, in what ways are you contributing to your own mental and emotional suffering? And once you feel ready, just start to write. And I'll give you a few minutes here. I'll give a few more minutes here. Just try and channel and write everything out. If there's anything else that you feel like you need to receive in this moment. And if you're done and that was able to flow through for you, maybe just let me know in the chat. A lot of times with automatic writing, especially with channeling, it almost can feel a little like chaotic in the mind, where my process is you visualize that stream of light making that direct connection. Yes, working perfect. And sorry, I was just reading the chat there. I realized, Robin, you said yes, working to the sound, not a new chat. So basically, that's my process of doing that white light visualization, automatic writing, doing that channeling. And it can almost feel a bit chaotic because the thoughts are just like coming. And often you kind of just hear the words coming before they actually get down on the page. And it comes with practice, that's for sure. But this is one of the best techniques if you want to practice channeling your intuition, source, higher consciousness. Practice it every day. I do this on a regular basis. I float there everywhere on the paper. Yeah, it can be just like chaotic. Like it doesn't have to make sense. Like when I channel, I scribble. I'm just like scribbling. It's just like getting down and then I read it afterwards. Filled up the whole page very easily. Good. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next exercise. Okay, so we're going to do some just intuitive embodied listening. So similar to the process of automatic writing, but we're not going to use our journals here or anything. We're just going to listen in to our bodies and just receive that information, right? Okay. And again, I'll have you close down the eyes, kind of get into a meditative posture, and then I will just speak to you the question, and I want you to kind of open and receive this information from your body, from these intuitive centers in your body. Which is another just beautiful practice that I call intuitive or embodied listening. So asking our bodies questions, asking our intuition these questions, and just allowing our self to respond, our higher self to respond. Okay. So closing down the eyes. Focusing in on the heart space and the belly. These are our main intuitive centers, our feeling centers. And just mentally or internally speak to the body for a moment. Just thanking it for being here and allowing to receive the information that you are ready to receive. So just acknowledging it and thanking it. And the question is, what are you avoiding facing or healing within yourself? So what are you avoiding facing or healing within yourself? And I want you to just allow that question to resonate for a moment, and then allow your body to to answer and just listen. Have a little dialogue with your internal being. And I'll give a few minutes here. Just giving 1 or 2 minutes here. Seeing if there's any more information that this intuitive voice has for you. All right. So when you feel ready, you can come out of that space. If there's anything you want to just write down for a moment that came up, you can do that. Moving on to the next exercise, which kind of follows up these two. We've kind of found some of that awareness of these blockages that are in our path, right? So we're just going to do a little visual meditation. And this isn't the transcendental meditation yet, but this is just a meditation to help us kind of energetically clear some of these blockages that may have come up in these past 2 exercises, and there might be more that come up on this path. And notice, like in the circle, this image that I found is perfect. That's like, was exactly what I was visualizing in my head when I created this. So kind of just like take a little mental snapshot of that. The guy's like on the path and there's like the bright light at the end of the road. And this meditation is to help basically do some self-energy healing and energetically clear or mentally clear, emotionally clear some of these blockages that we're ready to, right? So when I was doing this exercise, and I won't say too much because I'd like to kind of integrate it when you first hear it, but I was visualizing my blockages on the path, and I was like, I'm going to have you remove them. But in my visualization, when I was into it, I was just like grabbing these boulders and just like chucking them off. Like I was, at first I thought maybe I'm just going to have you guys like gently take them off your path. But then when I was in the meditation myself, I would like grab this boulder that was representative of one of my blockages or a person. And not a person, but it just like the boulder was representative of that. And I would just take it and like chuck it. But your blockages don't have to be boulders. They can be kind of anything that comes up for you. So I always encourage with visual meditations to really kind of let that imagination come to life, that childlike imagination. That's going to really help you in these exercises. Okay. So maybe take a little stretch break for a moment. I know we've been sitting for a while since we started a little late. If you need to stretch, drink some water, stand up for a second. Feel free. And our final meditation is lying down, so that'll be like super chill. This is the last one that's really like seated, sitting up. Okay. So when you're ready, just start to close down the eyes and get into that meditative posture. Whatever is comfortable for you. Okay. So starting to take those deep breaths again, just connecting inwards. I just want you to start to visualize yourself standing on this long path. It can be anywhere you want. The surroundings can be anywhere you want. But just take a moment to visualize yourself on this path. Maybe you can look down at your feet for a moment, anchoring yourself in to this space. Within this path, on this path. And now I want you to see way in the distance, at the end of the path, this beautiful glowing garden. Kind of like a Garden of Eden at the end of the path with beautiful trees and fruit trees, and everything's just glowing with light. garden at the end represents this space that's already within you, that's just your internal clarity, your inner peace, love, joy. So seeing that path ahead, that garden ahead, but then noticing as you start to walk along this path, big just blockages that are coming up. It could be a big boulder or a rock. It could be a road blockade. But as you start to move towards each of these blockages, maybe notice what it is for a moment. Maybe it has a label on it. Maybe you just intuitively know. And each block that you get to, I want you to just physically pick up and remove off your path as you make your way to that beautiful garden of light. And I want you to just take a few moments to do this, recognizing each block and removing it from the path, slowly and with care. Start to get closer to that garden, making your way, removing these blocks. Until you find yourself right in front of that beautiful garden of light and your favorite plants, fruit trees. So removing any final blocks and making your way to the entrance of that garden. Then when you're ready, you're going to step into this garden. And as soon as you do, as soon as you put your feet down in that space, you are just going to be filled up with all of this light, all of this joy, all of this clarity and love. Allowing this light energy to just remove all of these blocks from your body. And then when you feel like you have received enough of that light clearing out those energetic blockages, you can just look back out at your path, seeing it clear. And then taking a nice deep breath when you're ready. Exiting the visualization when you feel ready. No rush. All right. All right. So just maybe stretch a little bit. And I would love to know in the chat how that went for some of you. With that removing of the blockages or even the other exercises. Interesting, your blockages were like glue and gum stuck to your shoes. So I took my shoes off. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I figured the blockages would be different. Those type of things tend to be kind of unique to each person. Like mine were these giant boulders that I was just chucking off the sides. Anyone else wants to share? Some of mine were like sand on a brick path, and it took a lot of sweeping. That's cool. That's so good. That's very cool. I love how different they are. Like it's the same sort of visualization, but one, Anna, you have like glue and gum, and you take off your shoes, which is so, metaphoric and monumental. You're like, oh wait, I don't need these. I'm gonna just walk to my garden. And sand on the brick path. Ryan, your blockages were giant boulders or barbed wire fences that I had to physically remove with hard work. Interesting. I'm picturing you with like some clippers, just like some barbed wire clippers. Brooke, mine were roots and weeds I had to pull up after I tripped on them. Cool, interesting. Oh, so you'd like trip over them and then you'd be like, this isn't supposed to be here. I love that. Michelle, you were removing heavy boxes and picking them up and throw them out of the way. Interesting. So this is also just a perfect representation of like how beautiful our brains work, because this happens a lot where it's the same visualization, but everyone has a very unique experience, right? So it's just very interesting how the mind works. So cool. Okay, so moving on. We really just have the transcendental meditation left. I'm gonna talk about one more thing. Talk about my offering for a moment, but I know we started late, so you guys too long, probably like 7:30 at the latest. But if you have some like hard cutoff, that's okay. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of acknowledge almost the process of doing this work in general, right? So some of these exercises that we just did, they're really good while they hit the awareness and the processing. So even though I have these in order, they don't necessarily go like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, which is why I don't have like numbers next to them. They really like bounce around where you can be at this state of awareness, go to processing, go to acceptance, go to embodying this new way of being. Oops, maybe something else comes along on your path. You have a little test from the universe or something. Oh, you're back up to learning how to accept that, right? So that's why I say this is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. And awareness, which is so beautiful, and sometimes awareness is all you need, is just this recognition of the patterns, the self-limiting beliefs, the addictions and the attachments that you have in your life. That first step is awareness. And awareness is so difficult. There's plenty of people going out and about on their daily lives being kind of like, like shitty people and completely unaware of it, as we all have been as well, just not being aware of our own actions and impact that we have on other people, right? Or ourselves, or just respecting ourselves, And so that awareness is sometimes all we need. We don't have to get to that spot of embodying a new way of being, right? Sometimes awareness is just enough. But then beyond that awareness is acceptance. So it's great to have that awareness, but when you're aware, you can get trapped in beating yourself up about it. Oh, I'm aware that I have this addiction and attachment. Great. Well, this sucks. You know what I mean? And so you just beat yourself up about it, And so a lot of times after that awareness has to come this beautiful, loving acceptance of grace and compassion and self-love and accepting yourself regardless of these addictions and attachments that will naturally change over time. If you have this awareness and this acceptance and this self-love, loving yourself regardless, they're going to gradually kind of shift and change. And this takes time. This isn't like, let me just do this in, 30 days. This process has taken me years and years and years, and I bounce around between them. So processing, so you have that awareness, you have that acceptance, and then there's processing. So the last meditation that we did is a really good example of processing. These kind of meditations, embodiment work, if you've done my other work where we work a lot with the body and somatic work, kind of like physically removing this energy, that is part of processing. Therapy work, somatic healing, that's just part of that process of processing what's going on in our minds, processing these addictions, these attachments, these self-limiting beliefs, and healing them so you can rebuild and redefine your relationship with them, right? And so a lot of times we stay in these first three, honestly, and it's okay if we're there our whole life because this is the human experience. And really to get to that form of embodiment where you're embodying this complete new way of being, I mean, you have to be at the level of Jesus and Buddha to completely always embody this perfect new way of being. So it's completely okay that we'll bounce around. I've had a process this week that has come up where I really felt like I was in my processing and embodiment stage, and then I kind of had a little wrench thrown at me from the universe that I was like, oh shit, you just put me back at awareness and acceptance, because it just the situation shined this light on me of do you see this behavior that you still have that is one, not respecting yourself, and two, just mirroring this addiction and attachment you have. And so I was oh yeah, I'm going along good. I'm in my processing and embodying my new way of being. And then sometimes life happens and you're like back at awareness and acceptance. And that's okay. That is okay. But this process is just kind of really, really important, really talked about. Ram Dass talks about this a lot, this process. I love him, love him. Okay, moving on. I'm going to talk really quickly about my offering because I don't want to take up too much time. But I just launched this today. And so you guys are actually the first people that are seeing it and hearing about it. And I'm really excited for it. And this was kind of like almost a taster and a teaser of what I want to create. I kind of just had this vision of something I wanted to create, and I'm doing it. And so I'm calling it 22-Day Soul Transformation Challenge. And so it's going to be like a private group healing container, kind of similar to this. I'll definitely have more meditation techniques, more somatic healing techniques. We're really going to hit all of these aspects of the self. And so my intention for it is to integrate ourselves in mind, body, and soul, right? A lot of times people and we tend to lead with either the mind and the body. So the mind is all of our thoughts, our racing thoughts, you know what I mean? That we kind of just get stuck in the mind and let the mind control us, let the overthinking control us. And then we have the body, which also has its own little mind of its own, where a lot of times our desires, our senses can kind of take the lead in situations, right? Especially with, these kind of physical impulses with eating, with sex, things like that. That's a good example of how the body can kind of take the lead on situations when we don't necessarily want it to, right? And then the soul aspect of us, our spirit, our soul, our higher self, this pure kind of inner being that we are, a lot of times that's the last one that gets a little neglected, right? And so my intention for this 22-day transformation challenge is to really integrate mind, body, and soul. And I have this here, like, what did I want you to feel? And I said, setting you up for emotional independence and success. And so what I meant by that, because first I just had emotional success. And I'm like, no, but it's not just emotional success. It's emotional independence, where my hope, my intention is not for you to become, and that you should be aware of this with any healer, any practitioner that you work with, and if you yourself work in the space, is you don't want people to become attached to you and dependent to you. That's not the sign of a very good practitioner if they make you feel kind of attached to them, like you need them, right? My hope, my job, I feel like that I want to give in this world is giving people tools so they can have this emotional independence and success, and so they can try out these different techniques and tools to kind of have their little toolbox. So in their day-to-day life and day-to-day challenges, you can thrive and you know what to do, right? So it's not like promising that you're going to be completely transformed, right? It's promising these tools and techniques that help you just thrive in your day-to-day life. And then reprogramming and resetting the mind and body. I'm just reading if I'm forgetting anything else. Yeah, definitely a lot of subconscious reprogramming and working on building a direct connection to your intuition, soul, and inner voice, which is kind of my bread and butter and theme, that direct connection to our soul and inner voice. Okay. So just the shop talk fully, what's included. We're going to do 3 group transformation sessions, which will kind of be similar format, but more deep dive. Each will be about 90 minutes because I want a lot of time to just like chat with you guys as well, be interactive within the chat, kind of explore, feel like we're like in this together. And so it includes this 3 group transformation sessions. And then I have a 22-day embodied healing plan. So this written out plan that I have created is just going to help you kind of stay more dedicated to this 22-day journey, because if we just have the 3 group transformation sessions, it can be easy to just forget about it. So it'll just kind of help to stay dedicated, and it will include different meditations, different techniques that all have the goal of this integration of mind, body, and soul, right? Or even this process of awareness, acceptance, processing, and embodiment, right? Embodiment of this clarity, of this joy, of what and who we want to be. And then if you've done these workshops with me before, I always like to have a group chat on WhatsApp so we can just chat. I'll send Zoom links through there so there won't be any mess ups with Zoom links. And then as a bonus, at the end of the practice, at the end of the 22 days, I have a 50% off discount for a 60-minute session. And this is just by choice. If you feel like you want to have some full integration after those 22 days, then you can go ahead and book that. And it's starting 2 weeks from today. So exactly same time, except April 7th, Friday, April 7th, starting at 6 p.m. So exactly 2 weeks from today. And it's 222. But since you guys are here today, you specifically, I have a code where you receive an automatic $40 off. So I'm going to send this all within an email afterwards. And if you have any questions, because I'm kind of speaking about it quickly, just for time's sake. But if you have any more questions, just let me know. But I'll send the page that I have that I just created today. I'll send that to you guys after this, and all the information. I'll send over this these slides as well. Okay. Moving on. So I didn't want to end with just talking about my offering. I want to end with the transcendental meditation. And then we're good to go. But I love this transcendental meditation. I think you guys will enjoy it, and it'll be a good way to just end the session and wind down your Friday. And so what I'd like you to do for this meditation is be completely lying down if you can, or just like if you're on a couch, just be like completely relaxed, but lying down kind of helps. Just make sure you can hear me, like put the computer where you can hear my voice. And if you have something to cover your eyes, that's helpful. You don't have to. Just take a few moments here to get comfortable in your lying down position. I'm going to bring my light a little closer to me. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. All right, so just start to really relax the body. We're just going to start with a little body scan, fully relax, and then go into the meditation of this entering into your heart's temple. I'll just explain a little bit of it before I get into the visual and the body scan. But basically, I'm going to lead you into what I call your heart's temple. And this visualization came to me while I was meditating on the beach. And I used my heart to kind of go into my inner heart's temple, as that's what it kind of was called, or that's how I felt what it was when I was in the meditation. And in the temple, there was my inner guide, my inner guru, who was there to meet me and speak with me. And so that's what this meditation is going to be. And so I'm going to give you time to kind of speak to this inner guide or this inner guru. And it can be maybe a version of yourself, or it can be someone completely different. When I practiced this with friends, there were many, many different types of inner guides and inner gurus that everyone spoke with, including someone that said Jiminy Cricket was there singing When You Wish Upon a Star. That was great. Okay. So now that you're lying down, just start to take deep breaths, focusing on your forehead and your face and your mouth, relaxing this area, relaxing the muscles of your face and your mouth. And then taking another deep breath, focusing on the throat, just relaxing your neck, front of your neck, the back of your neck. Moving down into your chest and your shoulders. Just taking a deep breath, allowing yourself to just melt into the ground, getting heavier with each breath. Moving into the belly, softening and relaxing and releasing. Focusing on the arms, the hands, fully allowing them to soften and relax, get heavy. Moving into the glutes and the hips, allowing them to completely relax, soften. Now into the thighs, allowing them to relax and get heavy, fully releasing any tension in the body. And then finally down into the calves and the ankles, the feet. Allowing them to fully relax and release and soften. And now I want you to bring all of your attention into your heart space, into your chest. Visualizing this beautiful golden light within your chest. Seeing feeling this beautiful golden light swirl around within your chest, blossoming. Now you're going to watch this golden light kind of expand from your chest, moving into a stream of light in front of you. And as it streams out, you're going to see this big, beautiful portal in front of you. So visualizing this golden light from your heart, creating this big, beautiful portal that you're going to enter into in just a moment. So visualizing yourself stepping in front of this golden portal of light. Seeing yourself right in front of it before you step through. And then when you're ready, you're going to step through that golden portal and into your heart's temple. And when you do, just notice what your temple looks like. See what's around you. Notice where you are. Just observe your temple of your heart. Now I'd like you to notice who is there and if anyone is around. Could be more than one person. But I'd like you to see where your inner heart's guru is, this inner guru, this inner guide. Notice where they are, notice who they are, and just start to approach them. And introducing yourself, or maybe you already know them. And now keeping in mind some of the blocks that you were working on today, I'd like you to ask your inner guide and guru for more clarity and for any advice that they have for you today. Speaking about whatever you want with them. I'm going to give a few minutes here. right. I'd like you to start to finish up any conversation. And also, as you do that, I'd like you to ask them for a bit of a healing while you're in this temple and in this space. Asking your inner guide for a bit of an energetic healing in this moment. And allow yourself to receive that however that shows up. Maybe they want to put their hands on your chest and your heart, sending you light. Or just receiving this healing before you exit your temple. And then when you feel ready, just saying your goodbyes. Knowing that you can come back to this space, come back to your heart's temple at any moment and speak to this inner guide for advice. But take your time. And when you're ready, you're just going to exit the same way that you came. Stepping out of the portal of light and back into the space around you. But take your time, no rush. Just take your time getting back up, maybe taking some nice deep breaths in the body, waking it up a little bit, moving your hands. And just meeting me back up in a seated posture when you feel ready. When you are in that seated posture, just take a moment to put your hands in prayer, putting those thumbs on the third eye center, and just bowing down as far as you can go, maybe to the ground beneath you, and just thanking yourself for being here, thanking your inner guide, thanking each other. And then when you feel ready, I would love to hear about any experiences in the chat, and then I will let you go and send a follow-up email with all this information and these slides. Yay, Ryan. Beautiful, powerful, and peaceful. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lane. That was comforting. Good, good. I'm glad, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And okay, I'm so sorry that we started late, guys. That was my mistake. Definitely went over time.
That's okay.
Thank you. But I hope everyone, thank you, Anna. If you guys have any follow up questions, just let me know. I'll send an email with the slides and with the information for the 22-day challenge. And in these slides as well, I have two extra sort of a little bonus exercise that you can do on your own time. But I knew we wouldn't have time for it today. But you can do that if you want tonight or whenever. All right. Let me just check the chat one more time. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful night. I will send everything over, send the recording. And yeah, just email me or DM me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and I'm here to support. I hope everyone.
It was a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I'm so
Thank
glad.
you.
Definitely go and journal afterwards because a lot of times the visual meditations can be easy to lose really quickly. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Emily.